Today's episode is sponsored by The Botanist Gin. With frigid air in full force, I'm brightening up the season with a winter G&T, with rosemary and citrus to cozy up to the shrimp scampi I'm making today. The Botanist is made with 22 unique botanicals hand-picked on the Scottish island of Islay, giving it a flavor as one of a kind as my enjoyment of it. Let's get down to basics. Alright, so the first thing we gotta talk about is fresh versus frozen shrimp. Logic dictates that fresh should be better, but not necessarily the case. The vast majority of shrimp sold in supermarkets has been previously frozen, then allowed to thaw before they put it out on display. So if you buy frozen shrimp, what you're actually getting is fresher than fresh shrimp, if that makes any sense. If you get frozen shrimp, you can thaw it quickly under cold running water or overnight in the fridge. Then, unless you got easy peel shrimp, you need to shell and devein it. First we gotta pull off all the creepy crawly little legs, then peel off each segment of the shell. Now some folks like to leave the tails on for decorative purposes, but you can't eat it, so personally I like to take it off. Next up we have to remove the vein, which is just a polite word for intestinal tract. To remove the intestinal tract, we're gonna place a shallow cut down the outside of the shrimp, using the dull backside of our knife to pull out the poop. And while you're at it, why not strike a pose with your catch of the day? Once we got our shrimp peeled and deveined, I'm going to show you how to make scampi two different ways, quick and easy, and a little slower, but a little better. First up, for quick and easy, we are combining 3 tablespoons each unsalted butter and extra virgin olive oil in a large, high-walled saute pan, bringing to a bubble over medium heat. This is going to be a very quick process, so we're going to simultaneously start cooking our pasta. To the butter, we're going to add half a teaspoon red pepper flake and 4 cloves of crushed garlic, which we're going to saute for about 30 seconds. Or until delightfully fragrant. Then we're adding half a cup of dry white wine like Sauvignon Blanc, which we're going to simmer for about 5 minutes or until the wine is almost fully evaporated. Then to this mixture we're going to add our 1 pound of shelled deveined shrimp, giving her a toss and cooking for about 3 or 4 minutes until the shrimp are nice and pink but not totally cooked through. Meanwhile, we're chopping up about 3 tablespoons worth of fresh parsley, and now at this point both our shrimp and pasta should be slightly undercooked. How do you know if the pasta's ready? Don't throw it against the wall, take a piece out and taste it. Is it ready, Andy? No, I didn't think so. Give it another couple minutes until it's just shy of al dente. How about now, Andy? What do we think? Oh god, you're gross. Still a little chewy, but you don't have to pick it out of your teeth. That's where we want to live. At this point, we're going to add the squeezed juice of 1 large lemon before dropping in our half pound of just shy of fully cooked pasta along with a 1/4 cup of pasta water. You guys know how I feel about finishing pasta in its sauce, and shrimp scampi is an especially important application of this theorem. Toss it around vigorously over very low heat, add more pasta water as necessary, and season generously with kosher salt and freshly ground pepper. If the pasta starts to look oily or the sauce looks broken, add more pasta water. It will help re-emulsify it. We're also going to add about a tablespoon of high quality extra virgin olive oil, and if we've done our job properly, you'll see that the sauce is thick and creamy and not oily or greasy. This, my friends, is the magic of pasta cooking water. Once the sauce is done, we're killing the heat, adding our fresh chopped parsley, tossing that around, and of course tasting for seasoning. Is it salty enough? Is it peppery enough? Observing, deducing, and adjusting as necessary. Then we are plating up, optionally using your carving fork that you got from Jon Favreau. Never hurts to name drop if you're on a date or a job interview dinner. Top up the pasta with extra shrimp, and there you have it. A profoundly delicious shrimp scampi that takes no more than 20 minutes to make. How could this possibly be made any better? Well, with a little bit more time and a couple extra ingredients. We're going to start by dry brining our shrimp, combining a tablespoon of salt and a teaspoon of baking soda, tiny whisking to combine, and sprinkling evenly over our shrimp. This is going to improve its flavor, its texture, and its ability to sear. Give it a little toss together and let it sit out at room temperature for about 30 minutes before starting to cook. And don't throw away your shells. We're going to use them to make a sort of shrimp stock, combining a cup of dry white wine, a few peppercorns, some bay leaves, and our shrimp shells, bringing to a simmer and cooking until it's reduced by about half. Then I'm going to engage in the controversial practice of adding toasted breadcrumbs to my shrimp scampi. I'm toasting about a cup of panko breadcrumbs and 2 tablespoons of butter over medium heat for about 3 minutes, tossing constantly until golden brown. Once our shrimp stock is reduced to about a half a cup, we're going to strain it and set it aside. Then we got to do a little bit of veggie prep before we head back over to the stovetop. First up, we are slicing our garlic rather than crushing it, and we're using 8 cloves instead of 4. We're also going to be adding 1 small finely minced shallot to the party and 3 different kinds of fresh herbs, 1 tablespoon of chopped marjoram, 3 tablespoons of chopped parsley, and 1 tablespoon of chopped tarragon. Using all 3 of these herbs is optional, but each one stands to complexify our already fabulous flavors. Now back over on the stovetop, we are heating 3 tablespoons of olive oil over medium-high heat, adding our dry brine shrimp once it begins to shimmer. Then pretty much as soon as we lay down the shrimp, we're going to start flipping them in the order that we laid them down. We just want to get a nice sear on them, we don't want to cook them all the way through. Once they've got some nice color on both sides, we're going to set them aside, and in the nice shrimpy oil left behind, we're going to saute half a teaspoon of red pepper flake and our garlic and shallots. About 1 minute over medium-low heat, adding more oil as necessary until nice and fragrant. Then this time we're adding the freshly squeezed juice of 2 lemons, I'll explain why later, and our reduced shrimp stock wine, bringing the whole thing up to a simmer over medium heat before adding a whopping 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter. All this wonderful fat is going to help mellow out the extra lemon. Now this time I'm using fresh pasta, so I'm adding it to the water very late in the game, because it only needs about 90 seconds to cook. As the pasta finishes cooking and as the butter fully melts, we're adding the shrimp back to the pan, adding the pasta to the shrimp with copious amounts of pasta cooking water, and then it's the same procedure as before, cooking over medium-low heat, seasoning to taste, adding pasta water as necessary, and emulsifying the sauce into something rich and creamy and buttery and lemony and amazing. Once you got the sauce where you want it, we're going to kill the heat and add the herbs. Give everybody a mix so everybody can get to know each other. Once again, you should see that your sauce is thick and luscious rather than oily and greasy. Give it a taste for seasoning, adjusting as necessary, and then it's time to serve. Twist it into a nest, top with extra shrimp, maybe a little sprinkle of fresh herbs, and then I'm also going to top it with our breadcrumbs and a grating of fresh lemon zest. And then it's time to tuck in, hopefully not dropping crumbs out of your mouth on camera, and bask in the wonder of what you just created, maybe also not on camera. About the only way I could imagine improving this dish is including a bright winter cocktail. So I'm going to harvest some fresh rosemary. You can harvest some from your fridge. I am definitely hamming it up today to make a light, refreshing winter B&T. I'm starting by pouring 2 ounces of the Botanist gin over ice, topping with the tonic water of my choice, garnishing with winter citrus, a half wheel of grapefruit, my fresh rosemary, and a very trendy metal straw. Thanks again to the Botanist Gin for sponsoring this episode. This beautiful bottle contains a gin unlike any other and makes a gin and tonic unlike any other. Try one for yourself today. Order a bottle of the Botanist on Drizzly. The link is in the description. Cheers.